Hello, my name is John Carlo, and this is my Uncle Mike. And I am doing this interview for a language arts project. And I chose him because I don't know much about him, and he is a very special person in my life. The first question for you is, where did you grow up?
I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, a little suburb called West St. Paul. And then when I was really little, we spent some time in Duluth, Minnesota, when my dad took a job there, and my sister was born in Duluth.
How many siblings do you have?
I have a sister, Jeannie, and a brother, Steve.
Are you the oldest of them?
Yes, I'm the oldest, and my sister, Jeannie's 18 months younger than me, and my brother, Steve, is 4.5 years younger than me. He was little, we called him Little Stevie.
That's funny. What kind of things did you learn from your dad?
Well, my dad was really good at teaching me both mechanical things, how to fix things, how to repair things, how they work, how to build things, how to take things apart. But he also taught me a lot of things about right and wrong, and how to do certain things and not do other things, how to treat people. And he let me make a lot of mistakes on my own. And so I learned from those mistakes that when you do things, there's consequences. And I learned the consequences of a couple of different things where he just kind of left me on my own to figure it out for myself. At the time, I didn't appreciate that too much, but now I do, because I figured out and learned a lot of things from that.
What were one of the things that you had to learn the hard way?
That's a pretty long list, so let's see. Well, I remember one time I had a brand new bicycle, and I left my bicycle sitting in the front yard. And my dad had told me time and time again, when the day's over, put your bike away. So I came out the next morning, and guess what? My bike was gone, my brand new bike. And it was my second bike that I'd saved up a whole bunch of money from cutting grass and doing chores and errands and all that kind of stuff. And I saved all my money, and I bought a brand new bike, and my dad told me repeatedly, put your bike away at the end of the day. I came out and my bike was gone. So you could probably imagine I was pretty disappointed and I was pretty upset. But do you know where my bike was?
In the trash?
Nope. It was
Throw
out.
away?
It was out in the trees behind the house. My dad picked it up, and he hid it out in the trees behind the house, and just wanted to see what was going to happen when I came out and my bike was gone and I couldn't find it. So I learned a lesson from that, and guess what? I never, ever left my bike out again.
How long did it take you to find your bike?
No, not very long. I think my dad knew I was pretty upset. So I'm not exactly sure. It was probably no more than a half hour. And then he finally said, go look out behind the trees. And I went out and there was my bike. But I learned a lesson from that. And guess what? That was a long time ago and I still remember it today.
Where did you go to college, and what did you study?
I went to college at St. John's University in Collegeville, Minnesota, which is about 90 miles from the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. And I studied international business and marketing, and I graduated from college in 3.5 years.
Why did you graduate early?
Well, I had the opportunity to do an internship as part of my international business degree, and myself and my friend Bruce went to South Africa and worked for 3M South Africa for a summer in Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town, South Africa.
What was the most interesting thing in South Africa?
Well, I was there during a period of time where apartheid was still in place. And that was really interesting because I think I was about 19 years old, and I grew up in the suburbs of St. Paul, and all of a sudden I was in a foreign country, Africa, that was controlled by the Afrikaners, which were primarily Dutch, and most of the people that lived in that country were black people from the various black tribes of southern Africa.
Okay. What college coach would you recommend for me for a good football?
Well, let's see, I don't know much about football, but if you look at the players in the NFL and where they went to school and what schools they came from, that might give you a pretty good idea of some of the programs that are out there. But then there's free agents and other players that make it in the NFL. There's a guy on the Minnesota Vikings that went to a school called St. Thomas University in St. Paul, Minnesota, a little Division III school, and he's playing with the Vikings as a pro. So you don't always come out of the mold of the great big schools and the big programs.
What is your favorite basketball and football team? Why?
Well, let's see. I'm not much of a basketball fan or a football fan. But if I had to pick, because I'm from Minnesota, I'd have to say the Timberwolves, even though they're not very good, and the Vikings, even though they're not very good. But my favorite is hockey, so that's definitely the Minnesota Wild.
Okay. What is your favorite color? Why?
My favorite color is blue,
Mine is too.
and it's because it reminds me of the sky and it reminds me of the ocean.
Blue reminds me of the sky too.
Well, good. And the ocean?
No.
No, just the sky?
Yeah, because when I'm in Canada, me and my cousin, we both like the color blue. So we have like blue team, and my brother likes red, and my other cousin likes red. So it's like blue team versus red team.
Oh, good. And the blue team always wins.
What is your favorite thing to do in your free time?
Well, I like to be outside because when I do my work, I'm inside a lot. So whenever I get a chance to go outside, that's what I like to do. Maybe cut firewood, even shovel snow, work in the yard, go to the lake, whatever I can do to be outside and not stuck in the house.
Why do you enjoy coming to Hawaii each year?
Because we get to get away from Minnesota, where it's usually cold and snowy and windy and cold and snowy and windy. And we come to Hawaii and it's warm, 85, sunny, and we get to visit our friends the Rufos and all of our other friends in Hawaii.
So you don't like the cold?
Well, I like the cold to a certain extent, but after 3 or 4 months of cold and snow and kind of being shut inside, it's nice to get away and come here, and then when we go home, winter's over and we get to start summer, spring and summer, and it's just a really nice, easy transition.
What has been your greatest challenge in life, and what have you done to overcome it?
Well, I decided in college that I wanted to be involved in computers, and that's when computers were kind of just getting started, and I didn't understand how computers worked. So that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how they worked, so it was a real challenge for me to understand how computers work, how software works, how you design software, how you write software, how you test software, and then how software works for the people that are using it. That was really, really hard for me, so I just had to work at it real hard to get to the point where I understood it all and could put it all together. And then all of a sudden it just clicked, and then that's what I did for 35 years.
What advice do you have for me in living my life?
Well, there's a lot of different things you can do. You're what, 9 now? So you got a long way to go. There's going to be a lot of things that you're going to have come up, and you'll have to think about them a little bit. And you'll have to start thinking about what you want to do as you get older and you go through elementary school, middle school, high school. Start making some decisions about what you want to do after high school. And then someday you're going to be on your own and make all your own decisions for yourself. So as you start making decisions little by little now, start thinking about the decision, the options, and the consequences, or the outcomes of all those decisions. And so you end up where you want to be.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
All right. right, should we say thank you to our camera person?
Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Brenda.
You're welcome.
And our technical support, should we say thank you to Angelo? Thank you, Angelo.
You're welcome.
All right,